साथियों, आज अलीगढ़ मुस्लिम विश्वविद्यालय के सेमिनार कार्यक्रम में चौथा दिन है और जो भी राष्ट्रीय और अंतर्राष्ट्रीय छात्र जुड़े हुए हैं हमारे ऑनलाइन चैनल पर, यूट्यूब मनोज अलीगढ़ी चैनल पर, वो जल्द से जल्द आ जाएं क्योंकि प्रोफेसर साहिब आ चुके हैं और आपको जो भी रिसर्च स्कॉलर्स हैं उनको बहुत सी ऐसी बातें बताएंगे जो थीसिस में उनके काम आएंगी। और सभी गेस्ट आ चुके हैं। जो भी श्रोता और दर्शक सर को सुनना चाहते हैं, देखना चाहते हैं, वो जल्द से जल्द सब्सक्राइब करें चैनल को, ऑनलाइन हो जाएं। कुछ ही क्षणों में कार्यक्रम के संचालक, पूरी टीम, जो स्टूडेंट्स हैं, वो लगातार कई दिनों की मेहनत और मशक्क़त से इस कार्यक्रम को सफल बना रहे हैं। मैं हूं अलीगढ़ मुस्लिम विश्वविद्यालय के स्टैच्यू हॉल में, जो सर सैयद साहब द्वारा इसका निर्माण किया गया था। ये बुलंद इमारत आपके भविष्य के निर्माण के लिए तैयार है। यहाँ पर बहुत से उत्तर प्रदेश ही नहीं बल्कि देश के कई यूनिवर्सिटी से स्टूडेंट आए हुए हैं, छात्र छात्रा हैं, पूरा लाभ ले रहे हैं उसका। और आज चौथा दिन है इस सेमिनार का। प्रोफेसर हजरात आ चुके हैं और यकीनन आपको बहुत से काम की बातें आप तक साझा करेंगे। मैं कार्यक्रम आयोजकों से निवेदन करूंगा कि वो कार्यक्रम की शुरुआत करें।
In the name of Allah, good afternoon and a very warm welcome to all of you in the fourth day of this 7-day national workshop. As all of you know, today we have two lectures. The first lecture will be presented by Dr. Mohd Nazim. Before starting the lecture, I will briefly introduce you with our for today. Dr. Mohd Nazim, sir, is an associate professor at Department of Library and Information Sciences at Aligarh Muslim University. He has more than 16 years of experience in teaching, research and librarianship. He holds a PhD in Library and Information Sciences from Banaras Hindu University and a master's degree in Library and Information Science from Aligarh Muslim University. Before joining Aligarh Muslim University as assistant professor, Dr. Nazim has worked as assistant librarian at Banaras Hindu University for 9.5 years. And 70 publications to his credit, including many research articles in top-ranked journals, including Emerald Insights, Taylor Francis, and Elsevier Science journals, and a book on knowledge management in libraries. He has successfully completed 2 research projects funded by ICSSR. He is currently an associate editor of journal Library Waves and a member of editorial board of several other journals. Dr. Nazim has presented his research work in different conferences and seminars across various institutions in different countries. Dr. Nazim's research interests encompass a wide range of topics, including knowledge organization and information retrieval, knowledge management, open science, and bibliometric and scientometric studies. His expertise and ongoing research in these areas contribute to the development of innovative approaches to information management and retrieval, while also addressing the evolving needs and challenges of the digital age. Today, Dr. Nazim will deliver the talk on the topic Understanding Research Process, a Step-by-Step Approach. Please join me in welcoming our research person for today, Dr. Nazim, sir.
Assalamu alaikum. The organizing committee of this national workshop, dear participants, As mentioned in this slide, the topic of the today's workshop, that is the process, research process. Okay, just understanding different steps of the research process. I would like to thank the organizing committee for inviting me to just deliver a talk on this important topic. And I believe that because this workshop started a few days ago and many important topics have already been completed. So this is a very basic topic which covers different aspects of the research process, research methodology. Okay. So it is not possible to cover each and every point, but I will try to explain or try to discuss some of the important aspects of the research process, what is involved in the whole process of the research. And I just want to share my own experience of conducting different kinds of research. So I hope that you will be in different stages of your research. Okay, maybe just join the research as a PhD students. Some of you may be in the middle of your research process, and some of you may be at the final stage of your research. So whatever may be the stage of your research, this lecture or discussion, whatever you say, may be beneficial to you. Okay. So when we conduct the research, this outcome is not necessary for just presenting the findings of the research in the thesis. It may be for other purposes like just writing an article for a journal, or just try to submit a proposal, research proposal to receive the fund from the funding organizations. And after getting the fund from the organizations, try to complete the research projects and submit the final report. So there may be many kinds of researches which are conducted in an academic or research institute. So this lecture is not restricted to a particular area like PhD or like research project. It is a common aspect of the research. So what is research process? Just try to see the definition which is given here, a set of systematic steps that are followed by a researcher in order to produce knowledge or new knowledge, because research means something which is researched already need to be reassessed, researched. Okay, again we need to do the researches, the same area of research. So research means searching again something new and to find the new aspects or new patterns. So the research process includes the ways in which appropriate information is located, collected, analyzed, and selected from different sources, and maybe the libraries, online sites, online databases. Okay, and then undertaking activities such as observation, field work, because these are the important points or important steps that are required in the whole process of research. So broadly, the whole research process is divided into different activities or different steps. They are identification of a research problem. This is the first important aspect when we start doing the research. And the identification of research problem is one of the difficult aspects, because without identifying the research problem, we cannot proceed further. Okay, so we will discuss in detail how we can identify a particular research problem in different areas of research. Then review of related literature. This is also an important component of the research, because the whole research is based on your previous studies, the previous studies on the same area. And on the basis of that, we can find the gap in a particular area. And to fill this gap, we need to conduct a new study or new research. Then the designing a research plan, collection of required data for the study, interpretation of collected data, and presentation of research findings. And finally, you need to cite the different sources which you have consulted during your whole research process. So these are the important steps that you need to follow in any kind of research. Maybe the PhD that most of you are doing, maybe a research project is awarded to a particular person when we submitted the proposal for a particular funding organization, and maybe any other kind of research like just writing an article for publication in a journal. So this is applicable to all kinds of researches. One of the important aspects of the research is identification of research problem. Your research starts with the problem. If there is no problem, there is no need of any kind of research. This is basically the aspect. But most of the time, what we do in practice, after the enrollment for PhD in a university or any other academic institutions, what we need to do, what we do actually in practice. Okay, we try to find the topic. Okay, so before that we need to find the problem. Okay, so identification of research problem refers to the sense of awareness of prevalent social problems, social phenomenon, particularly in the field of social sciences. I am talking about, my emphasis is related to the social sciences, not other disciplines, sciences and humanities. Otherwise, in the field of science and medical sciences, the process may be different. So because this workshop is related to the social sciences, so I am just discussing all these things in the context of the social sciences. So try to find a particular problem, okay, in any of the field. And our research starts with the problem. So the researcher identifies such a research problem through his or her observation, knowledge, wisdom, and skill. And particularly after reviewing the related literature on a particular topic on which you are going to do the research. So this is the process of identification problem. So there may be different types of research problems like practical research problem and theoretical research problem. So in the practical research problem, we try to identify the different issues with performance or efficiency, process that could be improved, areas of concerns among practitioners, and difficulties faced by a specific group of people. So these are the important areas or concerns that we need to address when we try to identify, try to identify the research problem. So we can see the examples of such type of research problem. Voter turnout in New England has been decreasing. In contrast to the rest of the country, a non-profit organization faces a funding gap. That means some of the programs of the organization need to be cut. So this is the problem. For example, this can be converted into our own university context. There is a funding crisis. So there may be one particular aspect that we can think that some of the programs can be cut in this university if we are not getting the sufficient fund from the funding organizations like UGC and the government. So this is a problem. So we need to address these kinds of problems. Then theoretical problem means the effect of long-term vitamin D deficiency on particular disease or particular problems in the of the person. Okay, so we can also investigate such types of research problems in our research. Not going into detail. Now, on the basis of the identification of a problem or a broader area, finally we try to the topic. And selection of topic is important, where a few words are required to frame the title of the study. This is important because sometimes we do not know how to select a topic. And after the selection of topic and it is approved in the Board of Studies meeting and finally it is finalized, then we realize that there is a problem in the topic. Okay, so for putting in the meeting or finalizing, it is important just identify different aspects of the topic and then finalize it. So choosing an interesting research topic is a major challenge. particularly when you start reading something about a particular area, then many concept comes to your mind. So you can think about narrowing your topic to something manageable. You cannot include everything in the topic. Sometimes what we try to do, we try to include everything in the topic. For example, if I connect it with my own subject like library science, then collection, development of manuscript in public library in Delhi during 2005. So these types of words may be avoided. What we can do, we can try to put these terms, these limitations under the scope of the study. Okay, avoid these types of terms and all the things in the title. So it is better to just include the scope and limitation part of the study. So if your topic is too broad, you will find too much information and not be able to focus. So topic broad अगर लेते हैं आप तो क्या problem होगी? Everything cannot be covered. Research means you should focus on a specific aspect rather than a broader aspect. Then you cannot inquire everything. So your topic should be narrow so that you can focus on that area. Try to investigate something that has not been already researched. Okay. Then background reading can help you choose and limit the scope of your topic. So background reading means that is review of literature that I mentioned. Very important aspect of the research. Try to read all the related literature related to your topic. Whatever the topic you are going to choose, collect the relevant literature from different sources. And you must know how to search literature. What are the important sources from the related information can be retrieved? So earlier we are dependent on the libraries only, printed sources, but today we have a variety of electronic and online databases and resources. But what we need to do, we need to understand the search strategy and the scope of different databases so that we can retrieve the required or important information related to our topic. So this search strategy is important, but I will try to cover this in the review of literature part, how we can conduct the research searches in different databases, online databases. So refer to relevant literature and required text to refresh your knowledge. So after scanning the literature which you retrieve, you will be able to refresh, develop your knowledge based on the existing knowledge in your mind base, knowledge base. Talk about research ideas with the friends and your teachers. They may be able to help you, help focus on topic by discussing issues that did not occur or did not cover already. Okay, come to the next slide. So think of the who, what, when, where and why question when you are selecting a topic. Okay, when you are choosing a topic. So why did you choose the topic? Any reason for that? What interests you about it? Do you have an opinion about the issue involved? So these types of questions you must raise from yourself. Who are the information provider on this topic? Where from you will find more information on the topic? Who might publish information about it? Okay. And who is affected by the topic? Your findings will have some implications for different stakeholders. This is also a question. So this may be thought about at that particular time, because when you write a proposal for the book, just want to share one of them experiences. The publisher, the international. In the proposal, there is a specific point that who will be the target audience of this book. So you need to define it. कौन इसको यूज कर सकता है, किसके लिए ये बुक लिखी जा रही है. तो ये इंपॉर्टेंट चीज़ है कि किसके लिए ये आउटकम ऑफ द रिसर्च किसके लिए बेनिफिट हो सकता है, बेनिफिशियल हो सकता है. Research which you are going to conduct has some implications or not, and who will basically affected with this implications. Okay, so these things must be considered when you are selecting your topic. And regarding the what are the major questions for this topic, is there a debate about the topic? Sometimes a new topic emerged, there is debate. First debate in academic debate. तो कोई भी नई चीज इमर्ज होती है तो उसमें academic debate होती है. Are there a range of issues and viewpoint to consider? Where is your topic important? At the local level, national level, international. Also important. When you are selecting the topic, these points also be. And when was your topic important? It is current event or it is historical events. So these are the things which you can consider when you are selecting your topic of your PhD. Most of you have already selected the topic. There is no need of doing anything. But if you are selecting a topic for the title of the article which you are supposed to publish in the journal, then these points may be considered. Okay. Narrow your topic. Sometimes, as I mentioned, that most of the things we want to include in the topic. So avoid using each and everything. You need to narrow down, and some of the things can be avoided. So sometimes you can narrow your topic by applying a particular theoretical approach. Theoretical approach means there may be a particular model. There may be many models. Out of those models, a particular model can be selected for evaluating a particular aspect. So you can restrict theoretical approach, the application of theoretical approach in your research. Then sub-area you can consider from the broader area to sub-area. That is, consider only one piece of subject. For example, if your topic is human cloning, investigate government regulation of cloning. There may be a variety of perspective of a particular subject. Not necessary to consider all the perspective. Try to restrict on a particular perspective. You are investigating a particular topic. Then time limit can be set. You can select a particular time period. Limit the time span you examine. In some cases, for historical perspective, time is important. For many other subjects, time is important. So if it is a historical research, or it is the research which is based on historical data, so you can restrict your research by time period or time span. Okay? Taken population group, that what you have selected as a population of the study. Okay? So you can reduce the populations or area of populations. And then geographical location. Maybe the whole country, the Asia, the continents, the world, and the city or the state or district. So depending upon the your conditions or possibility of conducting research, you can the geographical area of your population. Now this is very important. That is, identify the purpose of research question. There may be different questions, different research questions and different objectives. We write many objectives of the study, okay, in social sciences, even the research questions. Sometimes both. I don't know whether you have used this or not in your own research. We provide a list of objectives and a list of research questions. So we are not talking about this list. That is one major objective, one major research question of your research. And then in the light of major objective and major research question, there may be a specific research. So one major research questions need to be formulated at the beginning of the research. And in the light of that major objective, major research questions, some few specific objectives and research questions can be formulated. And then you can divide your whole study into getting the answer to specific questions of the study. But at the beginning, one major research objective or one major research question need to be formulated. So our research question is a targeted and specific question that sets the basis for your research. This is important. The whole planning of your research needs to be converted into a particular major research objective or major research. In the light of that, you can perform the whole study. A research question is a question that a study or research project aim to answer, a major research. And research question often addresses an issue or a problem which thought analysis and interpretation is answered in the study. In the conclusion, you give the answer broadly to the major research. Otherwise, you can answer the different research questions and different objectives in the analysis part, in the discussion parts of your report, final report. Okay? So examples are given here. How has the development of technology impacted our language? One research question. What are the factors that increase the childhood? And the major research question or major objective. There may be many more questions can be added to, okay, depending upon the requirements. For example, in the second case, in the second case, variables can be, or in the first case, okay. So you can analyze the impact of technology on language use among male and female, among different age group, among different kinds of professionals. So what you can do, we can try to list different objectives and questions in the light of different independent variables. आप ये जानने की कोशिश करेंगे मोटे मोटे तौर पे कि टेक्नोलॉजी का जो इम्पैक्ट है वो लैंग्वेज यूज में कैसे पड़ता है, लेकिन उसके बाद क्या आप ये जानना चाहेंगे कि ये जो इम्पैक्ट है वो अगर हम कंपेयर करें मेल और फीमेल में तो कोई फ़र्क पड़ता है, कुछ है डिफरेंसेस, या डिफरेंट एज ग्रुप में, या डिफरेंट काइंड्स ऑफ प्रोफेशनल्स में? तो ये बहुत से रिसर्च क्वेश्चंस और ऑब्जेक्टिव इसमें से निकल के आएंगे. बट हियर यू नीड टू आइडेंटिफाई वन मेजर रिसर्च क्वेश्चन और मेजर ऑब्जेक्टिव ऑफ द स्टडी. Then in some kinds of research we try to formulate the hypothesis. Not in all the cases. जरूरी नहीं है आप लोगों में सारे लोग hypothesis का यूज करते हैं. How many students use the hypothesis? Can raise the hand? किसी ने hypothesis यूज किया कभी? No one. किसी ने अभी तक hypothesis कोई तो यूज किया होगा ना? hypothesis किसी ने यूज नहीं किया अपनी रिसर्च में, किसी भी तरह की रिसर्च. आई एम नॉट टॉकिंग अबाउट द फाइनल आउटकम ऑफ योर पीएचडी थीसिस. मे बी यू हैव नॉट कंप्लीटेड योर, बट राइटिंग अ रिसर्च पेपर फॉर पब्लिकेशन इन अ जर्नल, हैव यू यूज्ड? कोई भी नहीं. तो दो तरीके हो सकते हैं सोशल साइंस रिसर्च में. एक तो यू कैन रेज द क्वेश्चन दैट आर कॉल्ड रिसर्च क्वेश्चन, और दूसरा क्या हो सकता है? हाइपोथेसिस. ओके. So if you are using research questions, try to get the answer to these research questions in the discussion, in the analysis, and in the conclusion. And if you are formulating the hypothesis, then you need to test the hypothesis by applying some statistical test. Okay. So formulation of hypothesis is important to find some sort of relationship, association between two groups or between independent and dependent variables. Okay. So a hypothesis is an idea that is not necessarily correct. That is one kind of assumption. हम मान के चलते हैं ऐसा हो सकता है, but it is not necessary that it is true. We can try to test after collecting data, after applying some kind of statistics. So then we find whether this assumption is correct or not correct. Okay. Simply used as a basis for further exploration. For example, younger people are more likely to use acronyms when communicating using social media than older people. So try to understand, this is an example of the hypothesis. Okay, what we try to do, try to compare the use of acronyms among two different groups, between two different groups, like younger people and older people. हम ये मान के चलते हैं कि जो younger people are more likely to use, ज़्यादा यूज करते हैं older people. But we need to collect data. We need to finally apply the test, relevant test, statistical analysis, and then we try to find whether this assumption is correct or not correct. Okay? So hypothesis is important. But when you formulate the hypothesis, try to understand the concept of variables. पढ़ लिया होगा कुछ स्टैटिस्टिक्स के लोग आए थे नहीं आए थे, तो उन्होंने कुछ बताया होगा व्हाट इज वेरिएबल, independent and dependent. So always we try to correlate, try to establish some kind of relationship between independent and dependent variable. Okay. जैसे मैं मिसाल के तौर पे कहूँ कि इंडियन वुमेन्स की जो हाइट है वो जापान की वुमेन से ज़्यादा है. दिस इज हाइपोथेसिस, दिस इज माई हाइपोथेसिस, माई assumption. मैं ये मान के चलता हूँ इंडियन वुमेन्स जो हैं वो उनकी हाइट जापान की वुमेन से ज़्यादा है. तो हम क्या करेंगे, कुछ सैंपल लेंगे. नॉट पॉसिबल टू मेजर द हाइट्स ऑफ एवरी वुमेन इन इंडिया. So we try to select a particular area, maybe particular district, or maybe randomly select the people from different places, and then try to measure the heights of the Indian women and try to measure the height of women in Japan, and then try to compare the mean of the height of these two groups, and then find whether there is a significant relationship between these two. So on the basis of which we can establish whether the height is, there is a difference in the height of the women in India and women in Japan. This is a kind of hypothesis. तो इसमें independent variables कौन से हैं या कौन सा है और dependent variables कौन सा है? Can anyone tell me about it? कोई बता सकता है कि जो मैंने 3-4 चीज़ें बताई, एक तो मेल फीमेल वुमेन, जापान वुमेन एंड हाइट, कौन सा डिपेंडेंट है कौन सा इंडिपेंडेंट? कोई बता सकता है? जैसे मैं कहूँ कि इम्पैक्ट ऑफ टेक्नोलॉजी ऑन, या इसको इस तरह से कहें, इम्पैक्ट ऑफ ऑनलाइन टीचिंग ऑन एकेडमिक परफॉर्मेंस ऑफ स्टूडेंट. दो चीज़ें आई. करेक्ट. तो हमें जब भी हम हाइपोथेसिस की बात करते हैं तो उसमें ये क्लियर है कि एटलीस्ट 2 वेरिएबल्स आर प्रेजेंट. वन इज डिपेंडेंट एंड वन इज independent, without which a hypothesis cannot be formulated. Okay. So these are some examples you can understand after reading examples. A clinical trial of a new drug, the null hypothesis might be that the new drug is no better, no average than the current drug. We would write the null hypothesis there is no difference between the two drugs on average. हम ये मान के चलते हैं कोई statistically there is no significant difference between the new drug and the old drug. The alternative hypothesis might be that the new drug has a different effect on average compared to that of the current drug. So you can understand the difference between null hypothesis and alternate hypothesis. Null hypothesis, there is no difference in the height of women in India and Japan. This is what? This is null hypothesis. हमने ये माना कि कोई difference नहीं है, but difference हो सकता है after analyzing data and applying the statistical test. There may be the difference, but null hypothesis means there is no difference. There is no significant difference between the height of two different groups. Alternate means there is a significant difference. So you can understand with these examples the concept of the null hypothesis and the alternate hypothesis. Okay. Now come to the review of literature. Okay, sometimes this step is before the formulation of hypothesis or formulating of the major research questions and major objective. Okay, कभी-कभी इसको हम पहले भी रख सकते हैं क्योंकि this is the foundation on which, on the basis of that, we can select different variables and different parameters of our own research. So the whole review process involves different steps and different procedure. First of all, you need to define your topic. We have already discussed about the process of defining the topic. The first step is defining your task, choosing a topic and noting the questions you have about the topic. Okay, this is important because from the topic you can select a few keywords. These keywords will be helpful for you to find the relevant literature from different sources, maybe from the library, maybe from the online databases. Okay, so on the basis of the topic, you can find a few keywords, and these keywords will be the basis of your searching point in different online databases. Then develop a strategy. The strategy involves figuring out where the information might be, identified the best tools for finding those types of sources. So hota kya hai, most of the times we do not know the relevant sources of information, or even we know we are not able to find, or even we are able to find, we are not able to search effectively. So search strategy is important for the searching of information, but the knowledge of different kinds of sources in your area of research is important. For in the field of science, in the field of engineering, in the field of medicine, there are many databases like Web of Science, like find the original resource and find the information from the original resource. But today, what we have a computer where you can find the bibliographic detail as well as the actual detail on the same computer screen by putting your query into the search box of any particular online database. So the searching of information become very easy process, but you must know what are sources in your area of subject and how you can conduct effective searches, how you can find the relevant information, and finally, after getting sufficient literature, sufficient articles from different sources, you can evaluate them. Evaluation is very important. There are certain parameters for the evaluation of sources, like authority, like the name of the publishers, and or even the currency of information when it was published. So all these parameters can be considered for the evaluation of the sources of information you have collected for the purpose of review and including in your own research or research thesis or research paper. And then try to the review, the actual review. This is a difficult task. I don't know how many people do the review, did the review. किसने review किया है? नहीं. Review किसने किया है अपने research किया है? तो किस तरह से आपने review किया है? There may be different methods of doing review. जी जी.
लेकर डेट वाइज उसको मेंशन करते हैं.
Okay, so this is after collecting the literature. Finally, we need to read, need to scan, and then try to summarize the outcome of the whole articles into in our own words. That is review. What are the important things that need to be included in the review? Suppose you are doing a review of a research article related to your topic, then at least one line objective of the paper. What is the objective of the study? What is the important method which is adopted for this study? The major finding, and finally the limitations of the study which is not covered in the existing study. So these 4 or 5 points need to be highlighted in the review. And you can arrange different reviews in chronological order. This is a very traditional system of providing review in the researches. But today, because there are plenty of papers, a large number of papers in every field. So it is very difficult to just write individual review and try to arrange in chronological order. So it requires many pages. So what we need to do, we need to organize similar kinds of, organize the reviews on different themes. Try to identify different themes of your review and then try to group different studies which are relevant to that particular theme together. So these kinds of review today, okay. But traditionally we are using individual review and we try to arrange this every review in the chronological order. ये अब थोड़ा out of dated है. Most of the journals particularly ask for such types of thematic review, okay, not this chronological review. Then finally evaluate your work. That is, you need to evaluate whether you have written correctly or not. So how many students are using this this new artificial intelligence based tool, that is Chat GPT? How many students are using this? ये तो आप हाथ तो रेस कर ही सकते हैं, क्या दिक्कत है इसमें? कोई इसमें चोरी नहीं है. This is a very wonderful tool, very wonderful, particularly for the research. कितने लोगों ने यूज किया? सिर्फ एक आपने किया है. बहुत ही स्मार्ट टूल है. आप कुछ भी करवा लीजिए उससे, कुछ भी करवाइए आप उससे. आप क्या करेंगे, आप एक पेपर का एब्स्ट्रैक्ट कॉपी करिए और उससे कहिए राइट अ रिव्यू ऑफ दिस एब्स्ट्रैक्ट. वो आपको लिख के देगा, बहुत इंटरेस्टिंग तरीके से लिख के देगा जो आप लिख नहीं सकते. जिस काम को आप 3 दिन में करेंगे वो आपको 10 मिनट में करके, 5 मिनट में करके देगा. दिस इज अ वेरी इफेक्टिव टूल, पर्टिकुलरली फॉर रिसर्च. नॉट ओनली दिस, यू जस्ट ट्राई टू प्रिपेयर अ टेबल. आप करके देख लीजिएगा शाम को जाके. एक टेबल बनाइए जिसमें आपने डेटा दिया है. डेटा की टेबल बनाते हैं, जब डेटा की इनकोडिंग करते हैं आप, उस टेबल को आप कॉपी पेस्ट कर दीजिए और उस पर लिख दीजिए राइट एनालिसिस एंड इंटरप्रिटेशन, एंड यू विल फाइंड द रिटन इंटरप्रिटेशन एंड एनालिसिस. और जो आपने पहले से लिखा होगा आप उससे कंपेयर करिए, यू विल फाइंड दैट दिस इज मोर इफेक्टिव रिटन बाय चैट जीपीटी व्हाटएवर यू से. So this is very interesting tool. So you can use this tool for writing a review for your research. Yes. Chat GPT, very famous tool people are using for writing assignment. Okay, there is no need of writing assignment. You just
these things. Several artificial intelligence tools also available like Paper Digest, Chat GPT. The thing is that I have experienced those things. I have given the command to the Chat GPT, but they are giving the fake citations. And as experienced and as
just try to understand my point. I am not talking about to just write the review based on the literature collection. You need to supply the article abstract into the box.
Exactly.
So you have already selected the proper article.
Even I have analyzed the one paper and I copy paste the table in ChatGPT. He has given the all illustration of the data.
That is not all the time you will find the correct information, because there is no human intelligence. There is artificial intelligence. So sometimes difficult to understand the context of your research and in which perspective you want to provide the analysis of the table. So ये चीज़ें हो सकती हैं, but most of the time this will be helpful to you. You need some kinds of editing. Okay, not as such you can copy and then use in your research. Some sort of editing is required for making it perfect. Okay, so but it is wonderful tool for saving the time. Not only this, you can just do the analysis, whole analysis, and all information is supplied. In the end, what you can do, you can write the discussion on the basis of the information provided. जितनी भी आपने टेबल दी, उसका एनालिसिस हुआ, उसके पास सारी चीज़ें रिकॉर्ड होती गई मेमोरी में. लास्ट में आपने लिखेंगे कि जस्ट राइट द डिस्कशन ऑफ फाइंडिंग्स. तो वो सारी इंफॉर्मेशन जो उसके पास रिकॉर्डेड है उससे वो पूरा एनालिसिस लिखे। जो आपके माइंड में आइडियाज नहीं आ सकते थे वो उसके माइंड में आ रहे हैं। So this is yesterday night I have done this. That is why I am telling you this is a very effective tool, because I mentioned only few limitations of the study. A few limitations, that is the population is very brief, and the time frame, that is, it is the articles that we have collected for only 2016. So I have only 2 limitations in my mind, but I have put the chat GPT, at least 7 limitations of my study presented to me, and I feel that these are correct. So something which is not in your mind, this will provide the idea of those things in your mind. So not exactly you can use. Research design is a strategy for answering your research questions using empirical data. So we have already framed the research questions or hypothesis or objective, there is no doubt. We have already discussed. But how we can answer these questions? We can give the answer to these questions by collecting or analyzing data. Okay? So how the whole procedure is called the research design plan, designing research plan. Okay. So in this particular area, we need to understand overall research objective and approach, whether you will rely on primary research or secondary research. That is, primary research means primary data or secondary data. Both kinds of data can be used for the research. Sampling methods or criteria for selecting subject. Then your data collection methods, the procedures, and your data analysis method. So the first is not important. The second and the other points are relevant to us because we have already discussed the research objective approach. So that we need, this is the total population. Okay. But I want to get feedback, so I can select a few. This selection may be non-biased and biased. Biased means I can just pick up anyone from you. This is biased. And random means that is everybody get a chance to be selected. That is random. Okay. So that is, we can select the sample from the population. This is also important. You need to your data collection methods, there may be different methods like surveys, like questionnaire, like observation, like experiments. So there may be different methods of data collection. And the procedures and subjective experience, belief and concept. And quantitative means that is the number. जैसे कभी-कभी perception जानने की कोशिश करते हैं हम, आपके attitudes को जानने की कोशिश करते हैं, आप किसी चीज़ के बारे में क्या सोचते हैं, क्या समझते हैं, तो उसमें कैसे करके आप उसको, क्या हम कोशिश ये करते हैं कि कभी-कभी हम नंबर में उसको कन्वर्ट करने की कोशिश, उसमें कहते हैं लेवल ऑफ सेटिस्फैक्शन, आर यू एग्री, स्ट्रांगली डिसएग्री, एंड बिटवीन देयर मे बी एग्री एंड डिसएग्री एंड नॉट एबल टू अंडरस्टैंड. तो 5 पॉइंट लिकर्ट स्केल और 7 पॉइंट लिकर्ट स्केल पे हम परसेप्शन को जानने की कोशिश करते हैं. दूसरा तरीका क्या होता है कि हम आपसे पूछ ही लें आप क्या सोचते हैं, तो आप जो भी जवाब देते हैं उसको हम या तो रिकॉर्डिंग करें या हम उसको नोट करें. तो इफ यू आर टेकिंग द आउटपुट फ्रॉम द रिस्पोंडेंट्स इन नंबर, इट इज क्वांटिटेटिव, एंड इफ यू आर taking the outcome from the respondents in subjective way, it is qualitative. Okay, obviously the analysis of quantitative data is easy, but analysis of qualitative data is difficult because you need to use different kinds of analysis. Testing some hypothesis, then we need quantitative approach is important. So in different contexts, different kinds of approaches are important. So it is, we cannot say this approach is best. This is depends on the nature of your research, and try to identify, examine the nature of your research and try to select any of the method, quantitative or qualitative approach for collecting data for your research.
Sir, please repeat the names of the tools of qualitative data analysis.
This is exactly, this software is available in my department, but unfortunately I forget the name. And this is start with N. Not exactly recalling the name of that software, but I can, if there is any group or yes, exactly, जोर से बता दीजिए आप. And Vivo, this is the software for analyzing qualitative data. Okay, this is available in our, but we have never used it because we have never conducted the qualitative research. So most of the researches we conducted is quantitative in nature. So that is why I personally not use this software. That is why I am not able to exactly tell the name of this software. So qualitative research design tend to be more flexible and inductive, allowing you to just adjust your approach based on what you find throughout the research process. And qualitative research, example you can see, if you want to generate new ideas for online teaching strategies, a qualitative approach would make the most sense. You can use these types of research to explore exactly what teachers and students struggle with in remote classes. So this is a paragraph that you can read. If your research related to this particular kind of aspect, then you can consider qualitative. And quantitative approach designs tend to be more fixed and deductive when with variables and hypotheses clearly defined in advance of data. When you use the hypothesis or research question for your study and the variables are very much clear, then quantitative approach can be for the research. If you want to test the effectiveness of an online teaching method, a quantitative approach is most suitable. You can use types of research to measure learning outcomes like grades and tests. Okay. Then identify your population and sampling method. Important for you. That is, I think, maybe repetitive because some of the resource persons have already did this population and sampling. Or not? Okay, I can continue. Defining the population. A population can be made up of anything you want to study: plants, animals, organization, text, countries. The social sciences, it most often refers to a group of people. Population का example आप देख सकते हैं. If you are studying the effectiveness of online teaching, it would be very difficult to get a sample that is representative of all high school. आप इंडिया में ऑनलाइन टीचिंग का अगर ट्रेंड जानना चाहते हैं, इंडिया से डेटा कैसे लें? Not possible. What we can do to make this research more manageable and to draw more precise conclusions would focus on a narrower population, for example, 9th grade students in low income areas of New Delhi. What we have done, we have just fixed the class, we have fixed the location, okay? Even we can just low income area within a particular city like Delhi. So this is population. This is population. Try to understand the difference between population and sample. Suppose in faculty, suppose you want to understand the level of awareness about different kinds of data analysis tools among researchers. तो आप क्या करेंगे? आप सोशल साइंस में सपोज 12 डिपार्टमेंट हैं, तो आप या डिपार्टमेंट्स में से पहले आप जो है कुछ डिपार्टमेंट को हटाए, या फिर डिपार्टमेंट सारे ले रहे हैं तो उसमें से कुछ पॉपुलेशन सपोज 8000, अगर 800 या 1000 रिसर्च स्कॉलर हैं, तो व्हाट यू कैन डू, यू कैन सेलेक्ट द रिप्रेजेंटेटिव फ्रॉम दिस पर्टिकुलर दिस पॉपुलेशन ग्रुप. ओके, so even with a narrowly defined population, it is rarely possible to collect data from every window. What we have seen, it is not possible to collect data from all schools in India. So what we have done, we have selected a particular area, a particular grade, okay, 9th grade. Then even it is not possible to collect the data from this population. So we need to select the representative of that population. That is called sampling. Okay, sample. So instead you can collect data from a sample. Two main approaches of sampling, that is probability sampling and non-probability. I have mentioned what is the meaning of probability and non-probability. Probability means everyone has a chance. और उसमें तो चांस ही नहीं है, बिल्कुल पिक एंड चूज वाली पॉलिसी है. तो मैं चाहूँ उसको पिक करूँ जिसको चाहूँ मैं. और कई बार डिस्कशन होता है पीएचडी का, जब प्री सबमिशन होता है तो इसी पे सबसे ज़्यादा लोग फंसते हैं आगे. कहते हैं आपने कैसे करके डेटा कलेक्ट किया? फिर हम डिपार्टमेंट में गए, जो हमें मिला से ले लिया। उनसे पूछा जाता व्हाट इज़ योर पॉपुलेशन एंड व्हाट इज़ योर सैंपल, वो कहते नहीं हम तो जो जब गए जो मिला उससे ले लिया, हमें नहीं मालूम कौन सा वाला है। जस्टिफाई कैसे जस्टिफाई करेंगे कि पॉपुलेशन क्या है, सैंपल क्या है? पता ही नहीं है, जो मिल गया उससे भरवा लिया, जो नहीं मिला उससे नहीं भरवाया। तो दिस इज एवरीबडी हैज़ नो चांस टू बी सेलेक्टेड। दिस इज नॉन प्रोबेबिलिटी सैम्पलिंग। हमें कौन सा मेथड चूज करना है जिसमें हर किसी पॉपुलेशन के हर मेंबर को चांस मिलना चाहिए। वो ना मिले वो अलग बात है, बट रैंडम मीन्स जैसे इसमें से हम ये कह सकते हैं कि जो स्टेप पहली चेयर से शुरू हो रहा है, हर तीसरा वाला कैंडिडेट या पर्सन विल बी सेलेक्टेड। तो जो भी दो के बाद जो भी आएगा वो हमारा पास सैंपल हो जाएगा। दिस इज रैंडम। या हमने एक इसमें बॉक्स रखा, उसमें सबका सबसे एक चिट डलवा ली और उसको हमने कहा हमें 10 चिट्स निकालनी है इसमें से, तो हाँ उसमें से मिला के 10 में 10 चिट निकाल ली इतने में से, तो 10 लोग सेलेक्ट हो गए। सबको चांस पूरा मिला था, किसी बॉक्स में सबकी चिट पड़ी हुई थी। तो इट इज़ प्रोबेबिलिटी ऑफ मोर प्रोबेबिलिटी ऑफ सेलेक्ट। तो आगे इसमें थोड़ा और डिफरेंस मिल जाएगा। टू जस्ट गो टू द नेक्स्ट स्लाइड। सैंपल इज सेलेक्टेड यूजिंग रैंडम मेथड्स एंड सैंपल इज सेलेक्टेड in a non-random way, mainly used in quantitative research. It is used in both kinds of research, qualitative and quantitative. Allows you to make strong statistical inferences about the population where it is not possible in non-probability. So I hope it is not possible to discuss different categories of random probability and non-probability sampling methods. But here, broadly, we can understand the difference between these two categories of sampling techniques. Okay? Now, after the selection of sample of the study, the next step or next important task is to collect the relevant and data for the study. So we have already defined our objective, our research question. Now we need to data collection methods. There may be different methods of data collection, and we need to plan data collection procedures, and then we start collecting data. These are the important steps in this particular area. Right? So data collection methods are ways of directly measuring variables and gathering information. They allow you to gain first-hand knowledge and original insight, and we can choose just one data collection method or multiple data collection. One data collection method means we can use questionnaire, but we can use other method also, okay, depending upon the nature of our study. Okay, so multiple data methods भी use किए जा सकते हैं. Okay, अब मैं अपने field का example दूँ तो हो सकता है आपको समझ में नहीं आए. Suppose I have selected a Scopus database. You know what is Scopus? How many students know about this database? Very few. Web of Science, very few. So these are online databases. So I have searched some articles using this database, but some information may not be available, so we can use another database. So that is multiple data sources can be used for research. So broadly there are two types of data collections, that is survey method and observation. But there are many more methods. So we will broadly discuss these. Survey method allow collect data about opinions, behavior, experiences, characteristic, asking people directly. There are two main survey methods from questions, questionnaires, interviews. तो सर्वे में हम एक तो इंटरव्यू कंडक्ट कर सकते हैं और दूसरा हम क्वेश्चनायर बना के डिस्ट्रीब्यूट कर सकते हैं. ठीक है, तो दोनों के अपने अपने प्रॉस एंड कॉन्स हैं. क्वेश्चनायर का क्या मतलब होता है? वी हैव डिजाइन्ड द क्वेश्चनायर एंड डिस्ट्रीब्यूटेड टू द पार्टिसिपेंट्स और रिस्पोंडेंट्स. बट व्हाट हैपन, समटाइम्स रिस्पोंडेंट डू नॉट नो द मीनिंग ऑफ द क्वेश्चन, बट जस्ट टिक मार्क. आई होप यू हैव डन इट. ओके, कभी कभी आपके पास कोई लेके आता है तो क्या करते हैं आप? लगाते जाते हैं. तो समटाइम्स यू आर नॉट एबल टू फाइंड द रिलेवेंट डेटा. ओके, तो आप जो भी कंक्लूजन निकालते हैं उसी फेक डेटा पे निकालते हैं. यहाँ तक तो फिर भी ठीक है कि आगे भी बहुत कुछ होता है. क्या क्या होता है यू नो वेरी वेल। तो अभी आपको हमारे एक स्टैटिस्टिक डिपार्टमेंट के जो सर हैं प्रोफेसर अकील साहब, बड़ी इंटरेस्टिंग बताते हैं कि हमारे पास डेटा लाइए, हम बताएंगे कि ये डेटा ढाबे का है या रियल है। ढाबे का मतलब जस्ट सिटिंग एट द रेस्टोरेंट और ढाबा एंड जस्ट वहीं पे सारा काम हो गया। देयर इज नो नीड ऑफ टू जस्ट individually the questionnaire to different expert in the field of statistics, but the people who are experienced in statistics, they can tell you the reality of your data. So questionnaire can easily be distributed, can collect the responses easily. Even today we have online questionnaire system, that is Google form, and we can create Google form and we can collect data online. This is very easy for us to collect the data from geographically distributed respondents. Otherwise it is very difficult, it was very difficult to just move from different places and to collect data from different respondents from different geographical locations. But this online system make it possible to collect data on online mode. You can design your questionnaire online. There are many tools for creating online questions. And for interviews, you need to really interact with the respondents, and whatever the outcome comes to that, you need to record it. Maybe by writing, or maybe you can use the recording device, so that after collecting the whole data or interviews, conducting all the interviews, you can just try to codify the recorded information for the analysis purposes. Then observation method is a very practical method, but difficult to apply. Okay, because just observe the activities of the respondent and try to note down these activities. It is more real, more practical, but it is difficult to adopt. Okay. Now, these secondary data may be collected from different repositories, maybe different websites, okay, and it is available. There is a directory of data repositories where you will find different categories of secondary data. Now, this is data analysis strategies, how we can codify, make the categories of data for the analysis purposes. There are different software that are available for the analysis of quantitative data, and there are particular software, as I mentioned, that is NVivo for analyzing qualitative. We are not going into next, और चलिए आगे, और आगे चलिए. This is report writing. After analysis of data and the data which is presented in figures and tables and charts, prepare your final report. This report may be your thesis. This report may be your research article. This may be the report of your projects, whatever. The report. You need to write the report in a current layout format. There is a particular format of the research writing. There may be variations in different kinds of reports. Maybe the thesis format may be different from the article format. So one standard formats I have copied somewhere from somewhere, so I can. These are the important elements that to be in the final report. That is cover page, table of content, text, production, background to study, where you need and methods. So the many things for you to just out. Time is very just then result section, discussion section, and conclusion recommendation. But one thing is important that I want to discuss. Have you seen discussion somewhere? किसी ने देखा है तब तो just discussing your findings. एक तो analysis होता है, interpretation होता है, but one is more important thing is that is discussion. So you need to discuss your finding in the light of earlier studies, the findings of the earlier study. Just go to the next, the last one. That is important, a site source. The sources which you have consulted during the whole research process, you need to cite, give the credit. Okay, that is called referencing and citation. Okay, sometimes we forget to cite. That is important for avoiding plagiarism, clarity. Cite, you need to quote of author, work, and at the end you try to provide the reference. That you can avoid the plagiarism. There is a standard procedure of giving the references. Even 2 or 3 lectures are not sufficient to discuss how to give the citation and references. Then we need to quote the complete line in double inverted comma, and when we need to just convert the whole sense of a particular paragraph or article in our own words. Still, if you are reading the articles and after that you are just converting the summary of the article in your own words, then still the reference is required, citation is required. हम citation को क्या समझते हैं, जो हम word by word जो लेते हैं उसी में हम citation समझते हैं, otherwise कहते हैं इसमें citation की जरूरत नहीं. So we need to understand, we need to read the citation manual so that we can understand how we can provide the citation. There are different software, Mendeley and other softwares are available which can help you just give the standard references, but I would like to give the example of different styles of reference. और बढ़ा दी. और these are the important information that to be included in the reference, that is author name, titles, date of publication, page number, volume number, issue number. These are the important information. The next slide you will find the reference in 2 different styles. This is American Psychological Association style, and the detail of the article is given above. On the basis of the above details, that's complete reference is given, that is the surname of the author, forename, then year of publication, the title and the journal, name of journal, the volume number, 28 is the volume number, in bracket is the issue number, and 5-50 is the page number. So this is a standard methods of providing references at the end of your thesis or your research work, and all the sources which you have consulted and used in your research need to be cited in your own research. Thank you very much for giving me this opportunity to discuss with you about my own experience of research. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Dr. Mohd Nazim, sir, for this very illustrious presentation, which I am sure will definitely help us all in our scholarly pursuits. Thank you very much. Now, before we move ahead, I would like to request Mr. Talha Arif to kindly present the workshop kit to our resource person, Dr. Mohd Nazim, sir. Thank you, Talha. Now I request our Honorable Warden, sir, Mr. Dr. Irfanul Haq, sir, and with him I would also request Research Scholar, Department of English, Takirul Sheikh, kindly present memento to our esteemed resource person.
On behalf of the Provost, SS All South, and behalf of the participants, I would like to thank you our resource person, Dr. Nazim Saab, Associate Professor from the Department of Library and Information Science. Sir, thank you very much, and we are looking forward to meet you again, inshallah, in our next program. Thank you very much, sir.
Thank you, sir. Now, before starting the second session, we will take a 15-minute break for tea. Tea is in the common room, as usual. Thank you.